Alright, so welcome everybody to GL.DauT versus Dogao. It is the final quarterfinals of History Hit Open $5,000 tournament sponsored by History Hit TV, as you see over here. The winner of this matchup gets to play the winner of Yo versus Jordan. I'm not gonna spoil that set so that you can watch that independently from this one, but either Yo or Jordan would be the opponent of the winner in the next round. In the semifinals are tomorrow on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll have the third place game and the grand finals. The home maps are Arena for GL.DauT, and Dogao has picked Cenotes, and you see Dogao with Chinese, Malay, Vikings, and Malians. Other side, Burgundians, Ethiopians, Britons, Mayans. For the Lord, the spectator countdown is about to disappear, so we will be able to jump straight into the first game. Alrighty, Chinese versus Mayans over here. I did have a talk before this game on whether or not it might be worth for GL.DauT to save Mayans for Arena, because Dogao's got Malay for that map, and if you think about it, Malay is pretty heavily countered by Mayans over there, so it would have been a possibility for GL.DauT to save Mayans for there. He's just gonna go for what is, by the way, an amazing Arabia civilization. Dogao's playing Chinese. This raises some questions because I thought that if you are going to have Chinese and Vikings as your civilizations for Arabia and Cenotes, Vikings will go for Arabia and you will go Chinese on Cenotes, because Vikings prefer to have a little bit easier volability and a slower paced game a tiny bit, and this version of Arabia, which is fairly well volable, provides that. Now looking at GL.DauT's base, this is absolutely perfect. A gold mine at the back, stone as well available on the back. Berries are not perfect, but it's a relatively easy wall. In fact, it's a very easy wall for GL.DauT. Plus gold at the back, all of that is very, very nice for him. Other side, for Dogao, not so amazing, I'm not gonna lie. The gold is somewhat exposed, the stone is somewhat exposed. In general, a lot of the minerals are focused on the left. All of the gold mines for Dogao on the left. And this is also a very open side, so I kind of dislike this map for Dogao. The south is pretty easy to hold, it's just a matter of how are you going to protect your resources on this side. That's what concerns me. This pretty much prevents Dogao from going for a Drush-Fast Castle, a build that he loves to play. In 2v2s, he very frequently goes for the Drush-Fast Castles, and the idea is that while Miguel is playing Scouts, his teammate, he's just going to go Drush-Fast Castle into crossbows and snowball the game with crossbows, and he does that masterfully. So, on the left side, Mayans for GL.DauT in red, as I said. As we're gonna have, for now, 4 on wood, no surprise about that one. Dogao is also 4 on wood, so we are not going to see scouts from him. He's gonna play archers, most likely. So, GL.DauT luring in the first boar right now. He did push in 1 deer, I believe, and now he's going forward to scout the opponent. He could take 2 piggies here from Dogao, because apparently Dogao was also busy pushing deer, but has not scouted these 2 piggies just yet. Yep, he's missing them by a single tile. That's very unfortunate for Dogao. He's looking for them everywhere, but they are right here on the front, and that could hurt because GL.DauT is gonna find the 2 pigs, and that's -2 for Dogao over there. Dogao can still compensate by pushing in deer, but obviously it's far from ideal to lose your sheep at the beginning. Dogao dropping the mill on the berries. This is the moment where we can talk about the berry bush mill placements. So most pro players would place the mill right next to the berries, so like the edge of the berries touch the edge of the mill. There are some players that claim that this is more efficient this way. The pros of this is that you can easily quick-wall your villas in case you're getting attacked from the side, and that you basically just have this little travel distance, no villager bumping and stuff like that. If you had it right next to the mill, villagers would bump into each other. On the negative side of this one, once you deplete the first row of berries, you will have to walk 2 tiles for the next row, as compared to a mill that's directly adjacent to the berry patch. So, for the time being, it looks like everything is peaceful here. Dogao rushing up a house close to his TC. I think he forgot about that house, that's why he had to make it all the way over there. And as things stand, both of the players are scouting each other for now. Let's see what we have here though, because it looks like Dogao did spot the barracks from DauT. DauT looks like he's thinking about men-at-arms here with that barracks timing. So, for now, DauT is gonna have this long wood line over here being utilized. One of the disadvantages of DauT's base is that he doesn't have a safe wood line in the back, so in case he gets pushed by archers by Dogao, he could, in theory, lose all wood lines, and that could be very problematic for him. There is the barracks coming up for Dogao. He is going for 2 on gold, and are we gonna see men-at-arms from him as well? DauT is definitely going for men-at-arms. And for Dogao, I don't see intentions of going for men-at-arms just yet, although he just now clicked up, so there's a chance he's still gonna start queuing up men-at-arms right now, indeed that's the case. The 2 men-at-arms openings should just cancel each other pretty much, and no one should have an advantage from that. Dogao is actually 5 on berries. That's one of the ways he compensates for losing that sheep. Instead of sending 4 on berries, he's gonna send 5, so he's gonna have the berries depleted a little faster, but he won't have to add that many farms at the beginning. Speaking of farms, he's Chinese, so he's gonna have the farming bonus, which helps quite a bit at dropping the farms and still having a very efficient economy, despite the fact he don't have horse color, because he probably won't be able to afford horse color at this pace. His eco is already pretty strained because of the lost pigs. And of course he's going men-at-arms, so I don't think that the horse color upgrade is something he can afford, or he will be able to afford. Let's see what the men-at-arms, or soon-to-be men-at-arms, can do here. Much faster fuel age for Dogao, by the way, and in fact, this is not even a men-at-arms opening for DauT, this is a late rush into archers. He changed his mind. Initially, the barracks timing for this one was a men-at-arms timing, more like, but he changed it into a late rush, and it's gonna be a rush archers in the end. This will mean that Dogao should have no trouble cleaning this one up. He's gonna take the fight against the eagle. I don't think that he can kill the eagle here, though. Yeah, that was a weird fight for Dogao. He took a lot of damage on that scout from the militias before, and that's why he wasn't able to finish off the eagle. And when the dust settles, there is no men-at-arms upgrade either for Dogao. He's up to field age a little faster, so he can get horse color. Well, he could get horse color if he was able to afford it, but more importantly, he can get double bit axe at the beginning. Range now up for him, and he's gonna start popping out archers. DauT is fully walled, however, so the couple of archers that will come out for Dogao right now will not be able to do any damage. Whereas for DauT, he can definitely hit the Dogao's base from multiple angles, because there's a lot of openings over here. Looks like DauT is just trying to harass with those militias for the time being. So we will have Dogao with 1 damage villager over here. DauT might try to come back and snipe it. The militias might still try to knock their way through the walls, and honestly, since they are still in perfect condition, I think Dogao could afford to upgrade them to men-at-arms. There goes DauT, and DauT wants to isolate that villager. Oh, it's gonna go down. That's such a good move from DauT. He knew exactly there was a weak villager there, and he was just waiting for the opportunity to strike. He waited and waited and waited, and then he found the perfect moment to snipe that villager. So, as I said, because these militias are still in perfect condition, men-at-arms upgrade wouldn't be that out of the ordinary here, and it would help a lot getting through those walls. For Dogao, so far DauT is just sitting back chilling, and this is where we have to mention that if this goes like it's going right now, then the Mayans will take over in mid-late castle age, especially considering that DauT has access to stone, so he can just go plumed archers, and plumed archers will beat whatever the Chinese can bring, or at least in castle age, given that there is sufficient amount of plumed archers. Dogao is coming in for the walls, as for now neither of the players are playing really aggressively. In fact, DauT is just sitting back with his archers for the time being. He is exclusively archers, now adding a couple of skirmishers, because Dogao also has skirms. DauT doesn't have fletching, Dogao does, and as I said, I feel like if these militias were men-at-arms and you would have this archer support them, they could easily bash their way through the walls. DauT is actually gonna add the second layer of walls as a precaution. What's Dogao's home map? Dogao's home map is Cenotes. Here come the archers from DauT. They're just trying to pick off the militias at this point because DauT knows exactly that without the militias slash men-at-arms, it's impossible for Dogao to get through those walls, and I see a couple of egos being mixed in. Now, individual egos, especially without a defense upgrade, don't perform really well in Feudal, because they still die to archers because it's just easier to mass archers than it is to mass egos. So if you do egos in Feudal, you need to group them up like 3 or 4 egos at minimum. Otherwise, you will just not have the numbers to take a fight. Archers will still eat you because the archers are just much more numerous in numbers. Okay. So, looks like DauT is switching entirely to egos, but that could be a mistake. Because if he's going full egos here, Dogao's just gonna switch into Cavalier. And as I said, if DauT is just too defensive here, and he doesn't have something to fight to archers, then he's gonna get his wood lines denied. This is his only wood line that is now getting denied. He doesn't have fletching, he wants to go into Castle Age though. So DauT just wants to turtle this out and go into Castle Age, go for egos immediately. Is there a hole there? No, there isn't, or at least not now. Still, there is a lot of idle time over here on DauT's villagers, and that's gonna set him back when it comes to dropping the 3rd barracks. Scale mail on the way, he's getting the egos out, but the other thing is that Dogao is not that far away. In fact, he's relatively close to clicking up to Castle Age, and so far all he needs to do is just deny, or further deny, DauT's wood line over here. Militia still trying their best to get in, but that's not gonna amount to much. So, what I like about Dogao here is that he's only one range, so it's not like he commits to double ranges, and he just won't have the resources for Night Switch. He will definitely have the resources for it because he only went single range. Probably the reason why he only went single range is because he's against Mayans. Looks like the egos are out. Dogao has seen the flags on the barracks, so he knows exactly that there is gonna be egos coming. But by the time that DauT reaches the opponent's base here, Dogao should be fully walled. And look at this, just one skirm denying that wood line is what Dogao wants. He wants to knock on these walls with the archers, as here come the egos. The egos cannot fight before Castle Age. Now that they're in Castle, they have good damage output because they have the 7 base attack as opposed to the 4 base attack. And I think DauT wants to sandwich the opponent's army in here, but chainmail would be very much needed here for DauT before he can convincingly take that fight. The skirm is still harassing DauT's lumberjacks here, making his eco a lot more inefficient compared to Dogao's one. And I like how Dogao is using the militias here. It's not gonna matter too much, but it slows down the egos, and Dogao just wants to buy himself some time to get up to Castle Age himself, and maybe get the crossbowman upgrade. DauT is even gonna try to take the hill here, still looking to sandwich that group of archers, and, well, as expected, these archers will now go down. There is no way for Dogao to save these. This is what DauT's plan was. Now that you're in Castle Age with +2 defense, the archers just melt to the eagles, and Dogao is supposed to be adding double stables here for knights. DauT's response should be a monastery, and indeed that's the case here. So both of the players are able to predict the opponent's moves so far. There is still a couple of archers here for Dogao, and he could upgrade them to crossbowmen even if he doesn't get Bodkin Arrow, because that could be useful to pick off monks. But as things stand, I kind of feel like I like DauT's position a little bit better. I'm more convinced in his army as of yet. But Dogao is getting the knights out, and that's where things could get ugly for those eagles. Dogao forgot about this part of the wall, and he's gonna be lucky to have this villager around, because otherwise those eagles could have gotten in over there. So it was a close call over here. +2 defense coming in for Dogao. He's gonna prioritize defense over attack. Oftentimes when you're fighting against egos, you actually prioritize the attack upgrade, not the defense upgrade. Not this time for Dogao. He's gonna have the second TC, and now I think things are starting to slowly swing in the favor of Dogao temporarily. So here's the deal. If DauT cannot do anything with the triple barracks egos, he will fall behind economically. With triple barracks Eagles, you can sustain multiple town centers worth of villager production as well, so triple barracks Eagles is always a 1 TC build, and Dogao is going to have multiple TC, so he's going to have the better eco. On the other hand, DauT is sending villagers to stone, so what DauT needs to do is just secure map control and forward castle here on the gold mine of Dogao. We will see if Dogao lets that happen though, because Dogao already has a lot of knights out with +2 defense and bloodlines, and I kind of feel like at this point, while DauT is picking up relics, sure thing, he doesn't have the army to fight knights anymore. He's got 1-2 monks right now. That's not gonna be sufficient. So, here come the knights. This is not necessarily a fight that Dogao wants to take right now. He's grabbing Husbandry. Husbandry is going to help quite a bit. Just diving in on those monks and sniping them. And looks like Dogao is a little concerned about 2 monks. He still loses 1 knight to a conversion, so might as well turn around and kill the monks now. Because now that you have lost a knight to conversion, you want to get something for that knight. And look at this, he's sending 1 knight in to take down the monk. The monk doesn't have sanctity, but it's still alive. And it goes down. Beautiful move, by the way, from Dogao to save his low HP knight. He's gonna end up losing it, but he actually is... Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive and he's getting away. That was beautiful from Dogao, because he can just send this back home and heal it up eventually. If he has a monastery, I don't think that he has a monastery just yet, but if there is no monastery, he can just use that knight to scout around the map. Second TC on the way for DauT. As things stand, Dogao has a 7 villagers lead, but neither of the players have wheelbarrow right now. More knights are on the way from Dogao, though DauT is only on stone with 3 villagers, so there's gonna be no castle coming out of this anytime soon, as DauT is gonna have to do a lot of house walls here against those knights. This should be no problem for DauT. No problem for DauT. They're in. They're in. And now DauT will be forced to take an engagement. His eagles are around here, and now the knights are jumping on the monk here. Villager failing to quick wall. DauT has to split his eagles here, as that's gonna be villager casualties no matter what here. Quite a lot, in fact, for DauT. At this point, for Dogao, it might even be worth to just say, okay, I'm gonna lose my knights here, but I'm gonna take down as much as I can with me. Lost a knight to conversion, but he killed quite a few eagles, and more importantly, killed a lot of villagers from DauT. So DauT is now 15 villagers behind, and I feel like the next wave is something that could be a lot more devastating from Dogao. He's only on 2 stables still, as compared to 3 barracks from DauT, so DauT can still catch up in military numbers. In fact, DauT has the numbers advantage, but most of those are eagles against knights, and Dogao is taking into champions. Now, keep in mind that supplies and longswords in general have been buffed, so that might be the motivation behind this one, but I'm not a big fan of that, because Chinese can continue with knights and just go for cavalier, but if they switch to infantry, the Mayans will be more than happy about that. Mayans will just go for a castle and go plumed archers. I don't think that you want to tech into infantry against Mayans. It's a little surprising that Dogao went for a man-at-arms upgrade, then he just stopped making anything on that barracks, so no longswordsman upgrade, not a single unit train. Okay, there is the longsword upgrade. So he actually wants to go full longswords, and the timing might work out right, because it looks like DauT is switching into pikemen. What do champions have that's better than knights here? The chance to deal with pikemen. That's basically it. Plus the fact that it's probably cheaper to push with them. But wait a minute, Chinese don't even have supplies, right? There are few civilizations in the game that does not have supplies, and Chinese is one of them, I think. So it's even worse for Dogao. I'm not saying that Cavalier is gonna work in the long run, because as I said, Mayans can mix in pikemen. But I feel like this is more about just Dogao having to build up that eco lead and use Imperial Edge advantage into Cavalier to win this one. He's at 13 villagers advantage right now. He's missing Castle Age eco upgrades, though just not getting Boso, and it looks like the Knights will once again try to go on a skirmish to the left side. He's up to longsword level, and he's getting some longswords out. As I said, no supplies available for him, as we will have the Knights looping over. There is gonna be forging as well. And I think the idea is that he just wants to defend with longswords here and potentially push DauT's base on this side. There's just no weak spot on DauT's base. That's the problem for him. Everything is reinforced with houses, so there's no way for those knights to get in. And now Dogao's gold mine is actually dangerously exposed. Is there even a hole here? It's hard to tell. I think there is. There must have been a hole there between that palisade and the forest, but no one noticed. Looks like the Eagles are disengaging. This could be a good fight for Dogao if he intercepts the Eagles before they can link up with the pikes. Yeah, the pikes are mispositioned, but looks like a single monk can actually discourage Dogao from committing to this one. Currently, Dogao has the eco lead, but DauT is getting close to Imperial and he's mining stone with 5. So we're getting close to the Plumed Archers play. And this is where I feel like, yeah, it's nice that you have longswords, but what are you gonna do with your longswords if your opponent has archers? Here it comes though, as longswords will take the fight. They only have +1/+1 as against the Eagles that have +1/+2. Scale mail now coming in for Dogao, and this definitely catches DauT off guard. You see he has to withdraw his entire force, and should he lose all these Eagles, this would give a nice window for Dogao to push. So there is still some risk involved for DauT. He's gonna be the first player to Imperial by a massive margin, but if Dogao can force an engagement here and destroy DauT's army in time, he might have a chance to counterattack and do some damage on DauT before DauT gets to Imperial. Now this is not an amazing scenario here for Dogao because he's using a lot of his knights to fight pikemen. The swordsman cleaned the entire thing up, but you saw that the left side was stacked with pikemen and just way too many knights went down here for Dogao, I believe. Still, he's gonna win this fight after all, having a nice 69 kills in this game so far, and now he's gonna have a chance to push. But as I said, by the time this happens, we are gonna have a castle coming up. Thanks for a raid from a person that's name I'm not gonna be able to pronounce because those are Eastern characters and I don't speak the language, but thank you so much for a raid. I appreciate it. So, here come the knights from Dogao, but as I said, they can get through these walls. There's no way they get through this. Dogao can click up to Imperial now, but he's gonna be a solid 2.5 minutes behind compared to his opponent, and I'm not even sure if he has the buildings. The monastery, and he's waiting for the workshop. Oh no. Dogao is delayed way too much into this one. Like, he could have clicked up to Imperial 2 minutes ago. He's just now clicking up. That's because he didn't have the buildings, didn't have the eco balance for this one. And now that we are seeing Plumed Archers, this is gonna be difficult for Dogao to deal with this. I'm not even sure what exactly he's gonna do. It looks like he's just gonna continue with knights. The bottleneck that DauT is gonna have is the Plumed Archer production. It's a nice thing that you have Plumed Archers that destroy both knights and longswords in sufficient numbers, but getting to those numbers is gonna be extremely difficult when you only have one castle. DauT can soon afford a second one though, so if he can secure decent map position, he could go for a second castle on this little hill, for example. Mangonel now on the way for Dogao. He still wants to smash his way through these walls, and this is probably the weak spot. 2 layers of palisades. As for now, Dogao is just gonna start hitting that house. Second castle for DauT coming in, but oh boy, he is known for his castles, and that castle is not going up. I think Dogao saw the villagers. He knows exactly that DauT wants a castle on top of that hill. It's still just Plumed Archers, and they only have a Botkin right now. Looks like the knights will loop around. Mangonel still knocking on the walls. And are they gonna try to see if there is an overchop here? It kind of feels like it, but Dogao has given up on the chance to deny this castle. This could have been easily denied. There is like 3 pikemen and 1 Plumed Archer here versus 11 knights. These knights would have stopped this castle. Another castle coming in for DauT. Clock is ticking really badly for Dogao right now. This is not a fight that he can take, and not a fight that he should take either, because his knights have +2 defense only against Plumed Archers with Chemistry and Bracer. He's gonna lose a lot here if he takes this fight. Looks like he still will, as the knights are galloping around trying to find an angle to attack. But as I said, Dogao now allowed this castle to go up, and now it's 3 castles for DauT versus the Chinese player, and as I said, Chinese don't necessarily perform amazing against masked plumed archers. They have their tools, but it's just not the ideal situation by any means. So Knights now coming in for Dogao. He still has a couple of leftover archers from Feudal Age, but that's basically it. DauT is all sitting on 3 relics as opposed to 0 from Dogao. Dogao losing quite a lot of knights here to the pikeman, as he's getting Cavalier upgrade and plate barding. One of the things that Dogao could maybe use is mobility here. Just try to run around the knights and hit this gold mine and hit this gold mine. Maybe try to starve DauT out of gold. That's probably the best bet right now. So, Knights picking off the plumed archers over here. The key thing for Dogao is that he can't allow DauT to mass a lot of plumed archers. If DauT gets to like 50 plumed archers, I don't think there's a chance here for Dogao. So, basically, Dogao needs to keep applying pressure and force DauT to fight with those plumed archers, pick them off one by one. Blast Furnace is going to come in for a Cavalier. Soon DauT should switch into Halberdier, because his plumed archers will perform okay against the Cavalier, but you want something that's trash unit and deals with Cavalier. Villager count for DauT is still relatively weak. It's only 97 vills, and that castle isn't going up for Lord DauT over here. A couple of villagers will bite the dust in the process. That castle is going to be a failure. We have some traps coming out here for Dogao, and the difference between the two players is that Dogao can dive in with Cavaliers to snipe traps. That's hardly possible for DauT with plumed archers. So Dogao can snipe traps over here, and you see that he keeps denying that castle. He's even going to force DauT to delete it. Because if DauT doesn't delete, he's going to lose the foundation. There's the deletion from DauT. And while DauT is sending the plumed archers to the left, Dogao is diving in with the Cavalier on the right. Trap is going to go down here from DauT. DauT is in possession of a huge amount of stone to repair those castles with. As Dogao is establishing map control, I see elite skirms being mixed in. 2 traps right now for Dogao firing up hills. There's a third one coming in as well. Cavalier still lurking to try and find an opening for the time being, but that is of no success so far. Plumed Archers actually try to pick off the traps, but that's not going to happen either. And those Plumed Archers will once again be forced to take a fight against the Cavalier. DauT is now up to 30 Plumed Archers, but his attention is stretched out in multiple different directions. So I feel like if this castle falls, Dogao still has a reasonable chance. Because that would hurt the production of DauT really badly. Losing 1 out of 3 castles, soon 1 out of 4. And Dogao will probably do the same trap push on the north as well. 3 traps now shelling that castle. DauT has to consume a lot of stone to repair this castle. And that's gonna hurt for DauT. That's gonna hurt big time. Skirms are already being teched into by Dogao. As he knows about this castle coming up, so he's gonna start making traps on the north. DauT is still having a reasonable stone bank, but that's running out at a quite rapid pace. Now there is a Halberdier switch from Dogao. The question is, will that Halberdier switch come before the skirmisher switch of the opponent? Because there's already a decent amount of skirms out for Dogao to pick off the Halberdiers. And here comes a raid from Dogao. Ideally, you don't want to raid with Cavalier in the range of a castle, because you're going to lose precious gold units to castle fire. But in this case, it might be worth it, because, as I said, Dogao needs to constantly apply pressure on DauT to prevent him from reaching the critical mass of plumed archers. The first castle falls over here, and Dogao is going to start shelling this castle here as well. A lot of villagers went down as well from DauT. He only has 6 on gold. That's the other problem that DauT is facing. He's just lacking gold. Still, quite a lot of Halberdiers are now pushing up. The skirmishers are still missing a lot of upgrades, so +2 defense just now came in. No chemistry, no thumbring, I believe, for Dogao, and no +4 defense either. Nonetheless, Dogao is looking for a potential overchop on the left side, and he might get one soon. And if there is an overchop here, the Cavalier could swarm into the eco of DauT and easily annihilate it. Cavalier is now coming from one side. This is a perfect fight for Dogao. DauT's Halberdiers are chasing the skirmishers, and they're not here to help the plumed archers. Absolutely amazing fight for Dogao there. Absolutely amazing fight, and I already see Capdram being teched into. Once we have Siege Ram, it's going to be more and more difficult for the Mayans to match up with this, because they just don't have the units right now on the field to destroy the Siege Rams with. Now, this is a bit of an overcommitment from Dogao, pushing a little too deep with the Cavalier, but skirms from Dogao will still pick apart the Halberdiers over there. Cavalier will go down to the castle fire here, so this is not a problem right now for DauT. What will be a problem is the traps coming from the north, and I feel like Dogao is just going to have way better map control in the long run. DauT is still 3 relics, Dogao is only at 1, but Dogao has both neutral gold mines, I believe. Yes, this is one, and that's the other one, so Dogao has both neutral gold mines and both neutral stone mines as well. Whereas for DauT, he's running out of resources to get at his own base, so even if he breaks out now, the problem that's gonna be that he's gonna face is that he's just gonna be up against so much more resources available because Dogao can take the extra resource on the map. Architecture on the way for Dogao, so he really wants to keep his own castles alive for map control. And now I just see insufficient numbers of Plumed Archers from DauT over here. As I said, lack of production is something that's gonna hurt DauT really badly over here, as another castle is gonna fall to the Trebs. This one over here is also going down, and DauT, he's not gonna be able to get to Plumed Archers now, and the Cavalier Skirmisher play of Dogao seems to work out. DauT is down to only one castle to produce Plumed Archers at. He's at 129 population, and Dogao just keeps trickling in the Cavalier here. 16 Cavalier, 32 Elite Skirms in this one. Plus, as I said, Cap Dram was already taken into by Dogao, so he's not far away from Siege Ram to start steamrolling these buildings. DauT wants to mix in a couple of Eagles here to deal with the Skirmishers, but the Eagles don't have the Imp upgrades. They do have +4 defense, but no Elite, no Eldorado, or no +4 attack right now. And even if they had those, they wouldn't perform really well against the Cavalier. And there is the Cavalier counterattack as well. There is an opening over there, as Dogao is selling his food for some extra gold as well. 54 army against 16. DauT is out of this one. I don't think even Eldorado Eagles won't save him here. Especially if you consider that Dogao already has Longsword being teched into, so it doesn't take a lot of time to tech into 2-handed swordsmen. Against this, Dogao might lose his traps in this fight though. It's a little bit careless from him. But DauT is down to 98 vills. He's losing his monastery here. Let's see if Dogao is gonna bring in the monks to take those relics. On the left side, the Cavaliers are in as well, and there is just one castle left for DauT. He's trying to get to this gold mine, but that's gonna be denied by Cavaliers. And without gold, Mayans struggle really badly. Like, they have Halberdiers and the extra arrow skirms, but that's basically it. They don't have a raiding unit that's a good trash unit, so it's impossible for DauT right now to raid his way back into the game. Dogao takes game number 1 in a fairly convincing fashion in the second half of the game. So I feel like maybe DauT's Cavalier switch was just a little too late, or DauT's Halberdier switch, excuse me, was just a little too late. Because there were a lot of fights where Plumed Archers were fighting the Cavaliers head-on. If the Halberdier switch comes in a little earlier, then that could have been different. But obviously, DauT went for a triple barracks eagle play, and if the triple barracks eagles doesn't do damage, you will get outboomed. That's exactly what we saw over here. So DauT had this big army here in Castle Age, you see, but it never really amounted too much, because even though Dogao's army was much smaller, at the end of the day, DauT wasn't able to get anything out of that army because Dogao was walled and he just couldn't break into Dogao's base. Dogao just outboomed him economy-wise and snowballed the game in the end, despite the fact that DauT was able to obtain a pretty decent amount of gold from the relics. So Dogao takes game number 1, and the reason why that actually is going to be a fun happening is because now we're going to DauT's home map, which is Arena. So it's clown time. Now we will see what DauT goes for. As I said, DauT civilizations are all reasonable for Arena. Britain's a very good Arena archer civ. Then you have Ethiopians, you have Burgundians, all of those are possible. Malay is the obvious choice on the other side for Dogao. Viking is not impossible. Malians would be a surprise over here. I would say we have 1 minute spec countdown going on. Alright, so Malay versus Burgundians. How do we feel about this matchup? This is not a matchup that Burgundians can win, right? What can they do against, like, mass Arbalest? They have good gunpowder, but I don't think that matters. And, like, Malay can just go for Halberdiers against their Paladins. So, unit composition-wise, post-Imp, I don't think that Burgundians can beat Malay. And it's gonna be really hard for the Burgundian player to even get to Imperial faster than the opponent. That's the other thing. Okay, countdown is gone. It's time to jump into the next game over here. Match point for Dogao over here in History Hit Open. It's arena time. I can't even remember when was the last time I casted the 1v1 arena. Dogao is on the left in blue with Malay. And on the right side, we have DauT as Red Burgundians. So, what do we got? We got back gold, back stone for DauT. Very, very good for booming. The berries are pre-exposed, which is far from ideal. And the secondary gold is also quite exposed. But a lot of space at the back for DauT. And as I said, very, very nice starting minerals at the back of the base. Other side, for Dogao's Malay, he's got a lot of space at the back. Double golds and stone at the back as well. Same thing berries forward. So the two players have very, very similar starting maps. The only advantage, or the only thing that gives an advantage for Dogao is that the neutral relics seem to be all on his side. Like 1, 2, 3 close to him. 2 of them are sort of in the middle of nowhere, but the relics definitely seem to have spawned closer to him. Plus the neutral gold and stones are also probably preferring him. Like you see, this is the neutral gold DauT would have to work with, and this is the neutral stone, whereas this is the neutral gold and stone for Dogao. Not necessarily ideal for DauT. So he has a bit of a map disadvantage. Yeah, I believe over here. So, as I said, I think Burgundians will have a really hard time on this map. Because in Imperial, they don't beat the Malay army. On the other hand, it's really hard to even get to Imperial in time to beat the Malay, because Malay have such nice power spikes. So, there's a lot of questions being raised here on how you even proceed with Burgundians here. I think DauT is just gonna boom. That's probably the most likely scenario here. There's an alternative that's kind of crazy, and it's a tower rush. DauT could technically take a gamble and try to tower rush, and like the concept behind that one would be that he would get the Castle Age eco upgrades in Feudal Age while tower rushing, so his economy would still be pretty decent, and his opponent's economy would be pretty weak potentially because of a towering. Now, a towering wouldn't be very successful here because of all the back minerals, but that might be something that crosses DauT's mind. Although I kind of feel like this is just going to come down to a full boom from DauT. Which raised the question of what Dogao should do, because if Dogao is just doing the same boom, he's going to beat the Burgundians here. He's not going to have as big of an eco, but he's going to have nicer timings with Imperial Age. I can see if DauT is just going full boom, I can see Dogao just going for, you know, like a 2TC play into early Imperial Age Arbalest Bombard Cannon and just snowball the game. Now, with Burgundians, DauT definitely wants to grab relics, so it's very possible that we will see Dogao even going for scouts with Malay just to control the map and control the relics. Okay, so what do we got here on the left side? Interesting point, Bialo. You're saying that Dogao has to be aggressive if otherwise he's gonna lose this. I think Malay will not lose to Burgundians unit composition-wise. The scary thing could be, what if DauT shows up with like 50 paladins when you are not ready to fight? So in post-Imperial, the army composition is better for Malay. But if Dogao doesn't have an army when DauT starts massing Cavalier and that hits Imperial, gets a bunch of paladin out, that could be dangerous for Dogao. He will lose to Revolution? Heck no. Like, Revolution against archers? Absolutely not. That shouldn't be the case. Like, the way to counter the Flemish Revolution is to just have arbalests. Like, 30-40 arbs will probably stop a revolution very easily. Like, we have seen that Yo tried it against someone in one of the arena tournaments. Yo tried a Flemish Revolution, and it failed really badly. Because you need like 25 arbs to stop that. DauT going for the farming Goiko over here. I appreciate how he has gotten horse color before doing so. But Yo isn't really a great arena player. Yes, Yo is not really... Like, Yo is a good arena player, but he's playing too standard. Because he doesn't really have a lot of experience in arena. Yo likes to play open maps. Same applies to Dogao, by the way. So, on this map, DauT plays a lot more than Dogao does. Alright, DauT is going for a standard 24 villagers 24 villagers feudal here. Should be a pretty decent fast castle. He might need to spend more time in feudal age though, because I don't think that he's gonna have the food to click up. But since he's sending villagers on gold already, I am gonna assume that he's not gonna spend a lot of time in feudal age, and ideally wants to click up even like right after hitting feudal age here. So, let's see what we got. We got a barracks for DauT, which means that he's gonna age with stable and might be market stable actually, because he doesn't need a blacksmith immediately. And the market would allow him to balance his eco and click up to castle age a lot sooner. So, he has got the gold market, stable is the age up building combo for him. He's gonna need to buy a bit of a food. I think he needs to sell some stone to do this. So what he would probably do is sell the stone and buy 100 food, and then buy the stone back in Castle Age or so. Meanwhile, other side, obviously timings are completely different for Dogao because he is playing melee, and in fact, he is gonna spend more time in feudal age over here, as he's already in feudal with 27, 28 vills. You see that he will go for the stable as well. He goes for the blacksmith instead of the market approach. Even if he clicks up later than DauT, he's gonna hit the castle age a lot sooner than DauT because of the melee bonus, so Dogao won't fall behind that much in castle age timing. Alright, so what is DauT up to? The fact that he's 5 on gold means that he's gonna go for at least 1 monastery monks. What if DauT goes for Monk Rush? Wouldn't that be cheesy? It would be risky, but 5 on gold feels a little too excessive for only getting 2 or 3 monks out for relics. Dogao knows exactly that his opponent is now out for the relics with the scout, and it looks like he's gonna have to take a fight over here. Another scout could come in, and looks like DauT is gonna get trapped in here. DauT wanted to turn back, but that's not gonna happen. Now, keep in mind that this is a feudal age scout, and now Dogao has to quick wall his vills because he doesn't have loom on those villagers, so letting that scout in might have been a mistake, honestly, for Dogao. I don't like that, because now DauT can actually see what Dogao has inside his base, and he can tell that, hey, my opponent has 2 back gold mines, maybe even pick off a villager if Dogao is not paying attention. Looks like you're gonna have one spearman chasing down that scout for the time being. This basically means that Dogao is focusing on that one scout behind the back of his base, whereas DauT is just, you know, big chilling, even grabbing light cav, and DauT went very heavy on the scouts department. He already has scouts, 6 scouts out, monastery on the way for monks, and I feel like despite the fact that the relics are closer to Dogao, as things stand, DauT seems to have a higher chance of picking those up, just because he's got a lot more military presence in the middle. And for Burgundians, the extra food that you get from relics is gonna be a very, very nice buff as well. So, let's see, Light Cav trying to snipe a villager will be unsuccessful doing so. The Spearman and the Scout will make a quick work of that. Dogao is also going to go for his own Light Cav upgrade, as DauT has the first monk already walking out. First monk is on the way for Dogao as well. So now it's going to be the good old-fashioned monk hunting game. DauT is even getting husbandry, so he really wants to max out the potential of those light cavalry when it comes to sniping monks. Behind this one, DauT is 2 TCs and he's got Boso as well though. Whereas for Dogao, he's just now making the second town center. No Boso just yet, but he has a 4 villagers lead thanks to being melee here. Melee light cav is terrible. I mean, yes, they don't have +2 defense, but it doesn't matter here. Burgundian light cav in Castle Age is not as, like, it's just slightly better. Neither of the civs have bloodlines, and the only difference between the two is that there is no +2 defense for melee, but that shouldn't matter here because you don't need defensive upgrades for your light cav here. Attack upgrades maybe to snipe down the monks, but definitely not defense upgrades. So I think this shouldn't really be a big deal here for Dogao. Anyways, for now it's just light cav wars, but this is actually favoring DauT over here because he's the one that keeps forcing his opponent back over here until there is going to be a monk for DauT that will try to convert from above the walls. Right now, we have 0 relics. Actually, now it's 1 for each. So DauT was able to bring in a relic from here, I believe. But that's basically it for Dogao. Everything else seems to fall into the hands of DauT because there's a monk coming for this one, there's a monk coming for this one, and this one is gonna be inaccessible for Dogao either. So there seems to be a 4-to-1 relic advantage in the end for DauT, although Dogao's gonna have something to say about that one. Here come the Light Cav. Light Cav will dive on the Monk. The Monk is gonna get picked off. It still brings the relic closer to DauT's base. Monk from DauT also gets picked off over here. A conversion happens for Dogao, but he is gonna lose another Monk in the process. And when the dust settles, it's gonna be 5 Light Cav versus 7. Spearmen just poking each other here on the right side. No one has any upgrades on those light cavalry units, so in the end, DauT wins that fight. That relic is still closer to DauT, so yes, he lost the monks, but I mean, he still has the military presence in the middle. 11-2 is the army numbers, and it seems like Dogao has given up on it. He's not even making any more light cav. He's 3 TC booming. DauT is just now adding TC number 3 as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was followed up by TC number 4 and 5. Another monk gets picked off from DauT by Dogao's last remaining light cavalry. So what is Dogao gonna do now? Because he's booming on 3 TCs, that's very nice, but he's gonna need to use an Imperial Age power spike to have a chance against DauT over here, because the danger that Dogao is in right now is that DauT is just gonna boom, and if they reach Imperial at the same time, or at least approximately at the same time, DauT is probably gonna have like 20 cavalry right by that time. Plus, of course, the fact that DauT is gonna be sitting on 4 relics isn't helping. You see, it's gonna give him a very nice food and gold trickle. So, let's see, Dogao for now 3 TCs, DauT is adding TC number 4. He's still having 2 villagers on stone, so I think that once he can afford it, there is going to be a 5th TC being added as well. 2 men saw already on the way for him. So, currently he's behind by 5 vills, but he has wheelbarrows, so that pretty much compensates for it, and in general his eco upgrades are better. Plus, of course, the relics in the favor of DauT as well. Let's see if this light cav can try to snap the monk. Oh, I think it might be able to. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close, but the light cap actually gets the kill. It gets the kill. Regardless of that, GL.DauT should still be able to pick up the final relic because he's got the power here to secure that position. Dogao at this point is probably just trying to snipe one or two more monks to make it harder for GL.DauT because he probably knows that there is little chance for him to take that relic when there's so many light cav out for GL.DauT. So, here we go with the fourth relic for GL.DauT, and that should seal the deal on the relic hunt, unless there's a light cap here for Dogao, and he dives in and picks it off. This is such an annoying thing for GL.DauT here. He really wants that relic, and honestly, Dogao has little chance, if none, to pick that up. It's a matter of, it's one thing that I'm not picking it up, but you are not picking it up either. That's the approach that Dogao is taking right now. Alright, another light cap coming in here. Don't tell me there was another monk that got picked off. That would be ridiculous. This is a very, very good trick, by the way, because what Dogao is doing is that he has one light cap here, and you see that the moment the relic disappears, that means that the monk has picked it up. So he's got like one light cap, and he's just waiting for the moment for the relic to disappear. Just watch. Relic disappeared. This is where a monk picked it up. This is where you want to send your light cap to pick it off. That's not going to happen. But how the hell? That is gonna be an Imperial Age, a blazing fast Imperial from the Malay player here, backing into Halberdiers. So he is going to prepare for the Cavalier play of the opponent, and that seems to be the idea. Halberdier Bombard Cannon could work very nicely here for Dogao, because GL.DauT, the only reaction that he can do to that is hand cannoneers, but that's gonna take a lot of time. He needs to get to Imperial, and he's gonna be behind by 2 minutes. Needs to get a University, and Chemistry takes like 1.5 minutes by itself to research. So I feel like Halberdier Bombard Cannon could work very nicely over here for Dogao. Halberdier Rams not so much, because Malay don't have great Rams. But at this point, especially if GL.DauT is starting to make his production over here, those could be lost very, very easily, so GL.DauT, I think, could be in trouble. And the thing is that he's got a 12 villagers lead, but is that significant? I don't think so. Like, if Dogao keeps adding villagers, I don't think that GL.DauT's economy advantage is big enough to justify just dying to the pikeman push, and there was a forward castle attempted here by GL.DauT. Or by Dogao, excuse me. There is the pikeman coming in. It's a little risky to fight this one just now, but pikemen coming in consistently. Dogao is missing a lot of upgrades on them. That's a mistake from him. He needs to start adding upgrades, pretty much. Quick walls are failing, and the light calves will take down the monk. Light calves, however, will still get shredded by the pikemen over here. So, once again, not ideal for Dogao, but I think that he is still in a decent position over here. That castle probably wanted to be forward. I am fairly certain. GL.DauT is not making his castle. If he ever wants Flemish Revolution, that has to be the one, but in order to really be good with Flemish Revolution, you would need a lot more vills. The 101 vills for Flamrav is not something that's great, and keep in mind that Malay have Karambits, and Karambit warriors will tear apart infantry pretty nicely. So that's something that needs to be considered as well. Chemistry on the way, forward siege workshops or bombard cannons, and the biggest problem GL.DauT is going to have is production. So, Halberdier on the way for Dogao, still missing a lot of blacksmith upgrades, but with Chemistry coming in, he's gonna get 2 bombard cannons out. Paladin coming in for GL.DauT, but is Paladin a wise choice when your opponent already has Pikeman and soon Halberdier? I am not 100% convinced. There is the archer range from GL.DauT, and once he gets to like a good amount of hand cannoneers, it's great for him. Remember, he's still on 4 relics. It's just a matter of, it's gonna take so much time for him to get to good hand cannoneer numbers. Dogao now queuing up the bombard cannons. DauT trying to just jump around with the cavalry, trying to find an angle to hit that trap from. Trap targeting the castle right now. It's only one trap, but there's a second one on the way. Steady production of halberdiers incoming for Dogao. He's behind by 18 villagers, but I feel like army-wise, he's a lot more ahead compared to his opponent. So now that castle's under fire by 2 traps, DauT is just trying to buy himself some time at this point. He needs some hand cannons out, and he's already getting a couple of those in now. If the hand cannons come in, that's gonna make things a little bit interesting, because suddenly Dogao won't have anything to deal with the hand cannons with. Well, aside from the bombard cannons, but that's not gonna be amazing. Here come the Cavalier, they will try to jump on the bombard cannon. Nice reaction from Dogao. The bombard cannon is still alive. Traps are exposed, and DauT was waiting for the pod in timing to jump on those. One trap goes down, the bombard cannon also goes down, and we will have most of the pod-ins biting the dust as well. This was just enough for Dogao. Or for DauT, excuse me. Because this buys some time for him to mass hand cannoneers against the halberdiers, something that Dogao doesn't have a good answer to. And I'm not even sure what he could do against those hand cannoneers short term. He's stacking into fletching. I think it's gonna be just skirms because Arbalests here would be decent. But I think he's just gonna go skirms against those hand cannoneers. Now, he's in trouble. He's in trouble because now it's hand cannoneers and he doesn't have an answer to that. So his window is now gone. And suddenly, we're looking into DauT having an army composition of paladin and hand cannon. Very, very expensive on the gold cost. So this is not really sustainable for DauT for an extended amount of time. But it might be good short term, and it might be enough to snowball the game. Especially considering that DauT has 4 relics. Looks like it's gonna be an Arbalest switch from Dogao, but he's still missing ballistics, missing tumbling. So as I said, there's a window here for DauT with traps and bombard cannons to start shelling that castle. Looks like Dogao's gonna start making arbs right now. Here, bombard cannon pops out. Let's see if it can get a shot on the bombard cannon of DauT over here. The decider game, by the way, would be on Cenotes if Dogao loses this. So we would go to a map that's somewhat similar to Arabia. Hand cannons running into a castle far over here. A bit of a mistake from DauT. Another castle is on the way. And now Dogao is in trouble. He's gonna snipe down one of the traps with the bombard cannon. But the hand cannons will dive in and snipe the bombard cannon itself. Bit of a dodgeball coming in. Nice move so far from Dogao to try and lure the hand cannons into the range of the castle. But I think Dogao lost another bombard cannon to the hand cannon over here. Arbalest coming in nice and easy, and DauT doesn't have a lot of pod-ins, so if Dogao can keep this castle alive and get like 20 Arbalests out, that could still work. The problem here is that you gotta keep that castle alive. Bombard cannon's getting some nice shots in. The trap went down from DauT, and now the paladins are trying to snipe the bombard cannon. They will actually snipe the bombard cannon over here, which would give a chance for DauT to finish this castle with his own bombard cannons, I believe. Arbalest's now on the way, but I feel like now DauT's momentum is too big for Dogao to slow down. This is the danger of Burgundians here, and in general, this is the danger that you could be facing with Malay, that in the, probably even, this is a general thing for Arena, that if your opponent starts making army faster than you do, and he starts to grab momentum, it's really hard to stop. And those are Burgundian gunpowder weapons. So it very much seems like Dogao is going to be dead here, because he's going to lose his production in a couple of moments. We're looking at 54 army versus 11, 196 population against 130. Dogao calls the GG, and for a moment it seemed like DauT is just going to get steamrolled here by halberdiers, but he was able to buy himself enough time sniping down the trebs and the bombard cannons with the paladins, and to get to decent hand cannoneer numbers, and from that point on it was just hand cannoneers all day, and Dogao didn't have the chance to tech switch into something that deals with hand cannoneers, and from that point on it's just a snowball of bombard cannons, hand cannons, and paladins. Alright, this brings us to a decider game, which will be, as I said, on Cenotes. Let's see the remaining civilizations over here. The winner gets into the semifinals of History Hit Open. So let's see what we got. for the final game. Ethiopians, Britons remaining for DauT. I feel like that's gonna be Ethiopians for him. And maybe Vikings, maybe Malians. I can see either of those working. I think Vikings is a better choice, but Dogao loves his Malians. So that's why I was thinking about Malians being a possibility. Okay. Looks like the next game is not up yet. So we're gonna have to wait a couple of moments until they are starting. They are just now in the lobby. There's gonna be a spec countdown as well. Once again, tomorrow, semifinals of this event, followed by the Rage Forest 44 Black Forest Tournament Grand Finals. And last but not least, on Sunday, third place game for History Hit Open, as well as the Grand Finals, of course. Alrighty, so let's see if we have a game. Nope. They are still not set up with the game, so a couple more moments until they get going. So this is basically a version of Arabia that has a lot of pawns, it's a little more open. It's basically a worse Arabia, honestly. This was used mostly in tournaments that featured like South American locations. So for example, this was I think the starting map instead of Arabia in Escape Champions League in the South American stage. So this is where Cenotes is coming from. It's a pretty old map. Never has been exceptional tournament map, but has been crawling around ever since the time I started casting. So it looks like it's gonna be Vikings versus Britons. Interesting. There's a lot to talk about here. Vikings is a pretty good choice over here, I would say. Though I said that at the beginning of the first game that I think if it's Chinese and Vikings for Arabia and Cenotes, you probably prefer Vikings for Arabia and Chinese for Cenotes, just because Vikings prefer more volable maps. And this one, while it's volable, it's not as volable as the Arabia version they are using. So it may have been better to use Vikings in Arabia and use Chinese over here. But we'll see what Dogao can do. One thing is sure, he has siege rams with Vikings available, and Dogao's or DauT is Britons, which means that there's a pretty decent chance for him to push Dogao in. Or I'm always confusing the players. Come on. Okay, so there's a pretty decent chance to push DauT in early Imperial. That's what I wanted to say. Okie dokie, spec countdown is gone, so it's time for game number 3, match point. For either DauT or Dogao, the winner gets into the semifinals and faces off against the winner of Jordan versus Yo. So let's jump straight into the next game. Welcome to Cenotes. As I said, this is like Arabia, but you have a lot more hills, a lot more ponds, and these ponds also have shallows. So this is an Arabia that's just harder to wall, pretty much. On the north, we'll have DauT as Britons in red. Down south, it is blue Vikings for Dogao. He's gonna have a beautiful gold and stone mine over here. Overall, very easily wallable base for Dogao. This is a dream with Vikings. This is just screaming for a Drushfast Castle crossbow play, if you think about it. Every single resource he has is safe. Safe woodline at the back, easy wall off on the right all around here. Gold safe, stone safe. This is the perfect map for Dogao. Whereas for DauT, let's just say it's far from perfect. First of all, he's further away from the edge of the map, so he can't really vote to that. He can vote to this pond, but that's not gonna be enough because the shallows, I think, connect this shore to this shore. So you would have to vote over here as well, and over here as well. And then on the right side, you would have to vote this pond, and then from this pond to somewhere. So GL.DauT's base is a lot more open here compared to Dogao's one. Dogao's one is an exceptionally defendable base for a Xenoda's generation. As things stand, we are gonna have Dogao moving forward. Looks like he's gonna be able to yoink a llama here from GL.DauT, just making life even harder for GL.DauT. Obviously, with Britons, you don't want to lose your herdables because that's where you're getting your economy bonus from. And the Dogao is also gonna find the boars here. He probably won't be able to stick around to try and block a villager because GL.DauT is chasing that scout. Dogao is gonna send 4 on wood, so no special surprise scout shenanigans. And as things stand, that llama is gonna go back home, so Dogao's gonna have 1 extra llama over his opponent for the time being. Deer is pretty far out here for GL.DauT, and for Dogao, where on the earth? Oh, there it is. Dogao's deer is right over here, as it looks like GL.DauT is just gonna get that llama in the last second. He's gonna take it back. Now he's gonna try to take a fight against that villager, but runs into the TC fire. Oh, that's a disaster for GL.DauT. That's a disaster for GL.DauT over there. He lost half of the HP on that scout. And honestly, if you ask me now, Dogao could lurk around that second boar, trying to block a villager. Let's see what GL.DauT is up to. GL.DauT might try to do the same thing. The llama is also back in Dogao's control, so GL.DauT did not send it back home, as you see. Oh yeah, GL.DauT is waiting for it. GL.DauT is waiting for it, I think Dogao as well. Both players will try to block the boar villager of the opponent here. Oh, it looks like Dogao is leaving, so GL.DauT is gonna have no problem with this. And Dogao is also leaving. So, at the end of the day, the 2 players play pretty much the same, but GL.DauT is gonna be down 1 herdable. That's the only difference between the 2. Pre-milled rush from GL.DauT coming in here. Let's see if Dogao is gonna scout that. He hasn't seen the barracks just yet, but he will soon spot it, I believe. Sees the house, sees the barracks, and with the flags, he knows exactly there's gonna be a pre-milled rush over here. Meanwhile, for Dogao, he's got a lady that's stuck on the wood line over here. Not ideal by any means. Oops, wrong one. This is the one I want. Okay, thank you. So GL.DauT coming up with the walls. I wonder if GL.DauT is thinking about the pre-milled rush FC himself. It's gonna be insanely hard for that to pull off though. It's so hard to wall this base. And also, GL.DauT... Oh, that's so sad for him. Not only did he lose 1 llama to the opponent, he didn't find 2 of his own llamas. And maybe he just thinks that, hey, I lost my llamas to a lame. But reality is that he just didn't scout the close vicinity of his base. That's where the herdables are hiding at, that little dark patch. And that this actually is really bad because this forces him to add farms super early. If he doesn't do damage, I think he's in trouble. Now, looks like Dogao is not gonna play Drush FC here. He wants to play Men-at-Arms Archers, despite the fact that he's got a clear and perfect map for a Drush Fast Castle. He's just gonna go Men-at-Arms here. Is it even Men-at-Arms? It has to be, because the barracks is up and he's already on gold, but he isn't making militias just yet. That's because he wants to click up to Fuel Legion. For now, he has all the villagers on the berries walled in, same thing for the woodline. So now the question is, what is GL.DauT exactly going to do? Because if GL.DauT is going for a Drush Fast Castle and Dogao doesn't punish it, it's going to work out well. The good news for Dogao is that he could easily punish this Drush Fast Castle just by towering that gold. Here come the militias. Dogao, upon seeing them, he's going to finish his walls. It looks like there is going to be some Men-at-Arms coming in from Dogao. It's very possible it's going to be a Men-at-Arms Towers play from Dogao, seeing the Drush Fast Castle of his opponent, assuming it's a fast castle. It's possible it's just the Drush Archers from GL.DauT. we will see about that in a moment. If it's Drush Archers without that much sheep, he should probably go 25 vills. And that seems legitimate so far. And it looks like there's no villagers pulled alongside the men-at-arms. So there is no towers just yet coming in for Mr. Dogao here. Meanwhile, Militia's knocking on the berries of Dogao. Dogao turns back and repairs, no problem in this one. And there is the Man-at-Arms upgrade. Now, Dogao's got a full HP scout here. He can definitely keep those walls open, and this is why DauT has such a disadvantage with the map. His base is pretty much impossible to wall entirely without massive length of walls. Whereas for Dogao, if he wanted to, he could easily wall himself. It looks like he's just going for a very, very tiny and compact base, as DauT is scrambling to get that wall up, but that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, and there's a scout here that's still pretty decent with HP, so it could be used to block villagers as well, escaping from men-at-arms. The men-at-arms are 50 HP as well, because these are Viking men-at-arms, and they will break through the gate. DauT is still Dark Age, by the way. DauT is still Dark Age, and this game could end without DauT making any military units aside from his Drush at this pace. Like, he's not gonna give up easily, but there's already archers coming in here for Dogao. He's gonna pick off the scout, the militias, and the next step would be to send an archer here and deny that wood line. This is looking ugly for DauT. I'm not blaming him, he's got an awful map, but part of this is that he didn't scout two of his starting huntables that were close to his base. That's on him, as he's milling the shorefish and the huntables here. Looks like the militias are leaving, but this is just gonna make Dogao send his archers forward. And I think that Dogao knows about the lumber camp. Yes, he does. And what he's gonna do is send the men-at-arms over here, and the moment the archers arrive, the archers will force off these villagers and they will run into the men-at-arms. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Indeed, Dogao is now sending the archers that way. DauT trying to get his own range up, but I feel like he's just set back so much already. Funnily enough, he has a pretty decent food bank, but that's the only positive thing I can say about this. The archers are derping out though, and this is a mistake from Dogao. He should have just sent the archers in here and denied that wood line. He still wants to just use this opening, sort of, and just get some archers in there. And, you know, keep applying pressure from this angle. But now that DauT has a range, DauT can also start making his archers. I think Dogao should mix in a couple of skirmishers here, because that would help immensely dealing with those archers. He still has a half HP scout that can pick off straggler archers. Meanwhile, militias are still harassing the archers over here. Dogao lures the militias of DauT into the TC fire. By the time DauT realizes, all the militias are gone. Well, except for one, but that's 1 HP. Another man-at-arms. Oh, disaster for DauT. The archers weren't paying attention, so DauT gets away with the villagers, at least temporarily. But there's a chance that there's gonna be a couple of villagers dying as well. This cart will be picked off by the archers. But at this point, it's gonna be about DauT unable to access food, pretty much. Because he has a couple of farms. His wood eco is very, very wacky, and a single archer from Dogao would actually be able to harass this one really heavily. And if you look at Dogao, by the way, he's Vikings, so even though he had some more T-Saddle time compared to DauT here, I feel like at this point he's already going for a second range. He has a blacksmith with +1 attack and +1 defense as well. DauT only has +1 attack, plus the free wheelbarrow helps immensely here. Archers trying to just take down the opponent's archers, it's pretty standard, and this is what I was talking about. The moment DauT has to commit to defend this side with the archers on this side can come in and just keep harassing DauT. And, well, villagers are not getting actively killed. Dogao already killed 3. He's got the free wheelbarrow, and he's idling DauT's economy. DauT has a 15% deficit when it comes to economy efficiency. So, this is exactly the situation we want to avoid against Vikings. Because if Vikings just boom for free behind this one, they would just steamroll you. Yeah, DauT stabilized much better than you would have thought based on how bad his situation was. Although, as I said, part of this was that Dogao didn't punish this wood line with the initial 2 archers. So, I think DauT could have, or Dogao could have accomplished a lot more. with his opening here. Nonetheless, now we are seeing Dogao slowly voting himself, and he's already on gold with 5. Will start voting himself to this pawn. He needs to be careful. Actually, no. There is no shallows here, so this is closed on the left side. Market wall coming in here for DauT to keep out the intruders. And so far, DauT's resource bank isn't looking that bad. In fact, DauT might actually click up to Castle Age faster than his opponent. You might be wondering how that could happen. That's because DauT did not go for the defense upgrade. DauT is only one range. DauT didn't go for a single man-at-arms, so a lot of resources were actually saved on that. Now, DauT is going to try and escape with this army on the right side, being chased by skirmishers. And those man-at-arms are still being very, very helpful when it comes to just bashing through walls and just keep harassing DauT. Dogao probably knows that he can't actually get through these walls because DauT is going to react to them. It's about harassing the opponent right now, and that is something that Dogao is doing really well. DauT is the first to look up to Castle Age, but will be trailed very shortly by Mr. Dogao. So, DauT's army is also getting cleaned up. That's the other problem that he's facing. That DauT is going to be faster to Castle Age, but he virtually has no army. And considering that DauT is only one range right now, making a mixture of skirms and archers, I think Dogao just needs to continue with his own skirms and archers as well. And eventually get the lead skirm. Oh, the wall is broken through. Second range from DauT will be placed there as a contingency. And so far, DauT did not lose more villagers than the initial 3 to the men-at-arms. So that's a positive over there. Many of those villagers on the gold mine are heavily battered though. So he has to be careful because those can be picked off very, very easily. Especially once crossbowman comes in for Dogao. The extra range of the crossbowman will allow him to pick off the villagers from a greater distance. Alrighty. So, oh yeah. DauT is like, GG, good luck. Not even sure what happened here. Oh, I know what happened. Okay, never mind. The villagers making the range got picked off. And basically this means DauT cannot finish the range. DauT will be one range. If you look at his army, it's ragtagged, couple of skirms, couple of archers. He sees exactly that he's up against like twice the army that he has, and his gold mine is like right next to this place where we're fighting. This was a very, very rough map for DauT, I totally agree. On the other hand, remember that DauT did run into the TC fire of the opponent. He did not scout 2 of his starting herdables, so as I said, it's a very rough map for DauT, and I totally agree that it was a little sad for him to get such a map. On the other hand, it's not like Dogao won because Dogao had a more defendable map, if you think about it. Right? Dogao wasn't walled either. The difference was that DauT went for what was a Drosh, and then he just didn't have a follow-up to it because he didn't have the food to go up to Castle Age, or Feudal Age, excuse me. So that was the difference. I think DauT wanted to go for maybe even a Drosh fast castle, but just underestimated how much he would need to wall for that. Or if he wanted to go for Drosh archers, I feel like Dogao's man-at-arms archers made more sense here for such an open map, I would say. Nonetheless, that means that Dogao moves into the semifinals of History Hit over here. Congrats to both players. Dogao comes out victorious 2-1 in the end.